Hello viewer, welcome back to 54A. Haven't actually made anything on the lathe this week, well, a proper object. But I just want to show you a few things that I've been messing around with which may or may not be of some help to some of you. So I'll just grab the camera and show you what I've been doing. Okay, you might remember in my last video I bought some Abranet. I've been making these because on the reverse of the Abranet it's nice and fluffy, which sticks onto Velcro very well. So I've got, I think it's 8 grades of Abranet. So I've got the 100, 120, I've made 5 so far, I've got another 3 to make. Now these are really cheap to make. You go to your pound shop and you buy these really rubbish screwdriver bit. I think you get 8 for £1, and use them as the shaft. Any bits of scrap wood will do. That's why these aren't exactly the same size, but it doesn't really matter. A bit of foam again. This was from one of these garden kneeling pads that you get from the pound shop. So £1 you'll get probably 20 of these. Bit of Velcro on, stick your Abranet on, you've got your stuff ready for your power sanding. So I've got all the grades of those. That's the first little task. That was my first little job. Next, you probably know I've been messing around with a bit of spirit stain. This is just a bit of scrap. Just 2 colours, black going up to red with a yellow wash on. And it's very effective. I like this spirit stain. I should do quite a lot of work with this, I think. That's another bit of rubbish anyway. I've made myself a screw chuck. Again, another piece of scrap, hardwood. Most people, especially us in the UK, we've probably got some furniture, flat pack stuff. And you always end up with these when you end up breaking the furniture up because it's no good anymore. It's a really hefty screw with an Allen key fitting. So I just drill the hole all the way through on the lathe. Obviously countersunk it halfway through. I then reversed it so the thread is in. I put the Jacob's chuck in the headstock of the lathe. Put the thread in the Jacob's chuck and turned it round a tenon on the end. Then you know everything's dead central. Then all you got to do then, pop it in your chuck, you've got a screw thread. That didn't cost me sort of anything. I have tried it, it works quite well actually. What's next? Let's go down here a bit. A bit more work on inlays. You know I do the model boat building, I think I've shown you these before, these very fine sort of 1/2 mil thick strips. And I've been messing around, seeing if I can get it. This is a little piece of walnut. Now then, I'll just get a little pointer. This is 2 mil, which you can put the groove in with your narrow parting tool. This one here is one of these very fine 1/2 mil thick strips of wood. To make the groove for this, I made another little tool out of a hacksaw blade. I just shaped it off like a parting tool is shaped off basically. But of course it's very, very thin. Be careful, I'm going to actually put a handle on this because it can be quite flexible. So I'm going to put a handle on it and only leave about 1 inch of blade actually sticking out. So put the wood in your chuck, put a very fine groove in with your little hacksaw blade tool, put some glue in, and then you can actually put your very fine inlay, and that's worked quite well I think. Doesn't matter if it's slightly proud because you're going to sand it down anyway. So the wider stuff I used my little bending tool, which you can get off a well-known auction site. It just takes the puts the bend in nicely, so your wood won't split when you're putting it in. I've done a few actually on the table saw. I've managed to do some really thin pieces. That's a piece of mahogany and it's less than 1 millimetre thick, so they can be cut on the table saw quite easily. That's a piece of oak and that's about 1 millimetre thick, so all that can be used for inlay work. One more little thing, just move that out of the way. Inlays, circles. There you go. Now these I made, again, I just got a piece of scrap to practice on. I've put a pencil mark on so you can see what I'm doing. In the chuck, put your groove in with your whichever parting tool you've got. I've done it on these pencil lines, and go down about 1/4 inch. When you've got your 2 grooves, just take this piece, slice it off very thin. You can see the pencil mark there. On your bandsaw you end up with rings. Now these I'm going to do a box. This is just a piece of scrap to show you the effect, and I'm going to make a slot, a groove, and drop an inlay ring. I'll probably use that walnut actually, that should set it off nicely, in the lid of the box. No joins, perfect little circle. If you just want a smaller one, there you go. So that's a few little tips and tricks that I've been messing around with this week. Oh, and I made myself another scraper just with a 12mm bit on the end, carbide tip. That's one I've made. So I've got a 15mm and a 12mm now. So I've also bought myself one of these fancy swan neck doodahs. I bought the one without the handle because why pay another sort of 10 or 15 quid when you can make your own handle. That's just epoxied in, so didn't take much doing it at all. So that's all my little tips and tricks that I've been messing around with this week. Hope some of it's been some use to you. Probably hasn't, but you know, you've probably heard it all before. But that's the way it goes. You know, you win some, you lose some, you make some stuff. Well, why not share it with somebody else? There might be 1 or 2 of you out there that hasn't thought of these little ideas. So there you go. Back to the lathe in a couple of days, I hope. I'm just going to have a bit of a tidy up, and I think I'll make this lidded box with this one of these little inlays in the lid. So I'll see you soon for that project. Take care everybody, bye now. Oh, don't forget to subscribe.